Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's on Disney Plus. It's time for our weekly Q&A. So all of these questions have been submitted in advance by our Patreon and YouTube channel members. You can become one from as little as $2 a month, and you can also join in live on the live chat if you are a YouTube channel member. Got quite a few people already in the chat, so make sure you can let me know if you can hear me. So a big hello to Ben. We've got Steve, we've got Noel in there. Just if you can hear me, just let me know. So last week was a pre-recorded one, so this week we're back live, and so it should be. We've got so many questions to go through. We've got a lot of questions. So I'm going to kind of go through them all. A lot of and the camera's just dropped out, but hopefully you can hear me. You can. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so as Kayla said, how was your day off last week? So we ended up going off to Harry Potter World, which is like a studio tour near London. We basically went away for a day or two, spa, lovely. Just had a little bit of a nice, just bit of a relax, which is exactly what we needed, just to have a little bit of a break. Right, so we got a few live questions, but what I like to do with the first questions, at least do the first title that we got as the title. So Aero G says, could you see D23 being live streamed through Disney Plus, like how they dropped sneak peeks on Disney Plus Day? So I definitely feel like, they've been doing a little bit of testing apparently down in Latin America on adding some code that will allow for some live streaming. Primarily looks to be more for like live sports and stuff. But I could definitely see them kind of doing a live streaming from like D23 events, maybe Star Wars Celebration, San Diego Comic-Con. However, my counter argument to live streams of that could be that, generally this might be better suited for social media to kind of get to the masses. I definitely, if they put it on Disney Plus, it's not a bad thing. But I think putting it out onto YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc., gets to a much larger audience. So that's where my counter argument is. While I wouldn't mind it being exclusively within Disney Plus, so obviously Disney make their money that way. I personally kind of see the advantage of putting it out for everyone. There's been a lot of talk about like live stream for what was it? I was trying to think here. Live stream of like televisions, because they used to do that on Disney Life, but for internationally there's not really a lot of point. I wouldn't mind them if they did some live streams of, maybe not necessarily live streams, but I think Paramount Plus is bringing it in where they're going to have like channels like airing, and it's just going to keep rolling, so you can kind of jump in with that one there. So that's my theory. I think like if we're going into the live streaming, I think it's much more likely to be for ESPN and things like that eventually at some point. Okay, so we're going to do a few pre-done ones in advance, and then we'll jump into the live chat. So if you've got any live questions, feel free to pop them in. If you want to use the super chat function as well, you'll be very welcome. That all helps support the channel. So Jay Blue says, could we see other ABC shows hitting Disney Plus after the Wonder Years? I think it's a great start to Disney Plus to allow more content. So over the last week, we've had the Wonder Years has been revealed. We've also had whole host of different ones. There is a little bit of an iffy with, they said about Grownish and Blackish in the next on Disney Plus video, but everywhere else is not coming up, and I've been told that it's not coming, but then it might do. I don't know. But right, I suspect we will see more of this. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we get maybe some more of this at this coming week's quarterly financial results, which takes place this coming Wednesday. So it's going to be taking place at 1:30 p.m. on Pacific time on Wednesday, which is 4:30 p.m., which is usually around about 9 o'clock-ish. I think I saw a question there from Steve was asking what time will it be. It's usually after 9 o'clock when it comes on here in the UK. So I tend to sort of sit down and watch that one there. So let's see what other questions we got here. So this one's kind of interconnected. So Joshua said, with Discovery Plus being an exclusive talks with BT Sports, how do you think this will all affect Disney Plus moving forward? So here in the United Kingdom, we've got a kind of streaming / mainly through like sports network through like Virgin and Sky stuff, which is BT Sports, and Disney were trying to buy it. and Disney was trying to buy it. A couple of other people were involved. Eurosport sort of / Discovery have been the preferred bidder, and they're going for it. What's interesting from our point of view as sort of Disney fans is they've got a contract with ESPN, which is I think it's set to expire this year, or it might be already expired. They signed a 7-year deal back in 2015, which takes it up to now. And actually, BT Sports was ESPN, and then they kind of sold it to BT. So it's a bit of an interconnected history. I think this is what this is going to do for Disney Plus, and as we've seen with the testing going on with some of the coding down in Latin America, I could very easily end up seeing ESPN becoming a major player here in Europe, and also I wouldn't be at all surprised if this happens everywhere. We're seeing this a lot of places now with Disney need to sort of offer more content, and sports could be a way of doing that, because what this means is they'll be following what sort of Discovery Plus will be doing, which will be HBO Max by the time we kind of get into it. But we're going to be seeing a lot of stuff. And I wanted to bring up, because right now, for example, here in the UK, we currently have the ESPN player, which, I mean, that sounds like something out of last decade. They've got like a monthly pass and an annual pass, which gives you access. So I could very end up seeing this end up being incorporated into Disney Plus. It might be included in the price. They might end up doing something. So I would not be at all surprised if we got something a little bit more interesting at this coming event. Okay, let's do some live questions here now. So Connor says, with the success of Pam and Tommy, do you see Disney developing and acquiring more 18-rated content like Pam and Tommy? I'll be honest, it's a great series. If you haven't watched it, do check it out. It is 18 certificate. It's not for every, it's very much for adults. Episode 2 is probably the kind of the racier one, but just I thought it was a great story and I definitely feel like we're going to see much more of this. It's going to hit a really good note, I think, for a lot of people to watch this kind of content. It's not what they're expecting, especially not on Disney Plus internationally. But yeah, there's a lot of people kind of that don't like it, but I think most of them have made their mind up before they've even watched it. But I've seen the whole series and thought it was a really good one. Matt says, do you think more international content will arrive on Disney Plus in the US? This whole thing with Snowdrop dropping on Wednesday, to me, is, I think, we saw that with that show back at Disney Plus Day, Intertwined, I think it was. If they're dropping Snowdrop, and they might just go along the lines of, look, we're going to put it all onto there rather than onto Hulu and start building it out. But yeah, this coming week for Snowdrop, this is a big deal, because not only is it the first Star original to come to the US, it is on Disney Plus. It's also, I mean, it's a much more mature show. It's going to be a big one. I'm really looking forward to watching it. Okay, and the camera's dropped. I don't know why we're dropping today. Hopefully it's all okay. A couple other questions. Matt said, I hope they had more ABC shows in the United States. Definitely, I'm hoping so. Noel said he wants to see Kevin Feige at the D23 Expo, including at the Marvel panel with the Blade movie, Deadpool 3, Fantastic Four, Young Movies, and Captain America 4. I'm really hoping he's there too, because I've got my ticket, so I'm planning on being there at the Comic-Con. So I'm hoping he'll be there. And if they can announce these things, I'm definitely on it. I definitely think we'll see much more about Blade. I think Deadpool 3 would be a great announcement. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of at the point now where I think like half the stuff that we saw announced at the last D23 Expo, we're starting to get now. So we're definitely a bit closer. Neil also said he wants an MCU X-Men movie. Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, I've even got my Wolverine top on right here. So we've also got here, Steve said he would love to see live streams added to Disney Plus to watch. Yeah, I think that's actually what I think I mentioned that actually. Noel says he wants WWE and the Disney Plus in the US. I don't think it's going to be happening anytime in the US. Peacock and WWE seem to be very, very happy together. They kind of they put out an announcement this week. WWE are really happy because viewership is massively up. Ryan just became a member. Thank you very much, Ryan. Hello to you. Glad for you to become a member. If you've got a question, feel free to pop it in. Ben says, when is D23? That is it's the weekend of like the 9th to the 11th of September. So we've also got here, Two Big Row says, after Disney buy Hulu completely, I don't think it will still be a live TV service because people... No, I would probably disagree for that one. I think Hulu will probably end up living on as a live TV service for a while because they still got like 4 or 5 million subscribers, so they could definitely keep going with this one. It says here, Ricardo says it's being said that the servers for Disney Plus were added like 300 link names in ESPN, so this could be a sign that the service is going to add more. Yeah, so what this is part of the sitemap. So there's a whole load of links to like future pages and stuff. They're not available yet. You can't actually, they don't go anywhere. But yeah, they've added a lot of links, a lot of stuff in there. I literally was just informed that the Death on the Nile has been added to the site link for future thing. So this is them planning. So it doesn't necessarily mean everything's going to happen. This doesn't necessarily mean we're good. But I could easily see an announcement. It's either going to be it could be coming up, especially with the sports side. And so here we go. Matt says, I heard they're making a show called Oldish coming in 2022 on the full. There is another Blackish spin-off I think it is called Oldish, but it's still very much in development. I don't think they're going anywhere yet. Ryan says, is it possible for Disney to add mature content on Disney Plus in the US with the Hulu deal, or can 20th century? Some of the stuff with 20th century content is exclusive in different places, like HBO Max and stuff like that. I think we are going to start seeing more of it, and I think I mean, as I said yesterday in the podcast, if you think of like what we've seen in the last week of what they've announced to what we thought, things like Snowdrop coming this week, and some of the documentaries are a little bit more hard hitting than we. So I'm expecting. Don't necessarily think it necessarily is going to be the Hulu deal completely, but they're definitely ramping up with all this ESPN content. Joshua says, any idea what's going on with Disney Plus removing Natural Geographic? Yeah, it's been going on. I have reached out. I have asked. So once I get an answer, I'm wondering if there's some like agreement on the content, like they only get so long, maybe. But I have reached out for clarification on that one. Let's see if we've got any more questions. We've got quite a lot here. No says, I'd love Obi-Wan Kenobi on May 4th. There's been a lot of talk over the weekend of May the 4th. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I'll be really, really surprised if that one's there. And Noel also said, after Disney Pixar turning red on Disney Plus, Super Bowl Lightyear. I think Lightyear is still going to go to cinema. I still think Lightyear is going to go to the cinema. I think it's going to be coming out in the middle of the summer. Yeah. So ESPN Sport coming to Disney Plus. I could see it. Either as an add-on, or they might add ESPN Plus within. I would not be at all surprised. Things are the amount of ESPN content and stuff I've been talking about in the last 2 weeks really does sort of show what's going on. Steve says, when do you think Chip and Rescue Rangers, the new movie? I think it might be April or May or something like that one. Okay, so I'm going to jump in to do some of the other previous done questions because we've got quite a few of them. Right, we did that one. Okay. So Lego Ninjago Productions says, do you think the situation with Russia will influence Disney's expansion of Disney Plus on the eastern side of Europe? No, maybe. I mean, other than Ukraine might be a little bit of an issue with what's going on there, but I wouldn't expect it to be a massive issue with that going on right now. Elliot says, what do you think of Disney Plus adding more mature content in the US? I love it. I'm really loving this. And I've got to, I just want you guys to have the full experience. With us having, like here, you can see on my Disney Plus here in the UK, we just got it's a better system. I actually watched 3 Billboards of Ebbing, Missouri this afternoon. That was, and I watched Torn the other night, even though that one's obviously everywhere. But yeah, it's just great having some choice. That's definitely what I like. Okay, so Mahmoud said, with Disney adding content like Snowdrop, The Wonder Years, and Summer of Soul this February, do you think this is the start? Totally. I think this is definitely the start. Kayla said, what are your thoughts on Fox renewing their license deal with Hulu? Personally, I feel it's good business since Tubi is ad-supported and doesn't generate the revenue they need. I think it's good from Fox's point of view because they're making money from it. They don't want their own streaming service. They might as well lease it out to someone. And if they've got a good relationship with Hulu, great. Ricardo says, in the UK, have you got the full seasons of 8 Simple Rules? I don't think we have got that one on there. 8 Simple Rules. Let's have a quick look here in the UK. I don't remember. 8 Simple No, we don't have that one here in the UK yet. Big Bro says, if Disney Plus has its own ratings, I would be confused since I use the MPA rating systems in the US. So Disney, what they tend to do is they don't use the same one that everyone was on there. So let's have a look. So let's pick something here. We'll just go to the home page. So if I click here on Pam and Tommy, for example, it states here that it's an 18 plus. And obviously this is what sort of Disney generally do in the US as well, just really not on there. And then you got Hit Monkey there, that's a 16 plus. They tend to use this in as many countries as they can because it's just easier to implement. There is a question here about some ratings. Okay, let's close that one down. We should jump back into some more questions that have been done in advance because we've got a lot of them. Joseph said, would The View ever come to Disney Plus? It's distributed by ABC, as I'm a fan from the UK, but can't watch it. I think that like the lifestyle, general entertainment stuff might be. There might also be a legal issue with the Loose Women show that we've got here in the UK. They might be like, you can have, because they sell the format on, but it's usually on the kind of condition that you can't have their version. So that's that one there. Elliot says, what do you think about Hulu and Disney Plus combining? I think that could be a while off. It seems to me like they're going a different route right now of kind of maybe ebbing up, getting Disney Plus, people just a bit more used to it. Tracy asked, firstly, you talk about Disney Plus growing up. That's been a definite theme this week. It would be great if Disney could include more cultural content such as ballets, opera, theatre. It would appeal to older subscribers. 100% agree on this. Theatre stuff, I mean, a lot of people have been asking for like Aladdin, The Lion King, Frozen, get all that on there. Put on some operas and stuff. If they can get the rights to it, do it. But some ballets and stuff, I think that's good. Ultimately, if they have the rights to it, put it on there. And yeah, why not? Yeah, I know it'll be good. And he said introduce it to field because Disney and ballet go together. Yeah. Connor says, thoughts on 20th Century Studios No Exit? I think it looks really good. I really like that trailer. I'm not normally kind of a horror thriller kind of person, but that trailer looked really good. I'm looking forward to it. It's nice to have an original movie coming up at the end of next month. Tracy also said, secondly, it's my old chestnut miraculous. Why did the US get the English dubbed episodes and not the UK up until we get the new episodes on the 16th of the month? Yeah, it looks like, because I was looking into this a little bit, because I mean we're up to episode 16 here in the UK. Sometimes it's, again, a lot of it comes down to how they're releasing it and stuff. So it just looks to me like the US is not getting the stuff at the same time. Let's have a quick look here at the UK ones. Stephen, big news this week. Any watched Neighbours Channel 5 drop in the summer as Channel 5 one of you? Yeah, apparently the viewership for Neighbours has dropped down to about 1.5 million, and it's just not covering it with advertising. It is a shame because I mean I grew up watching Neighbours. It's an Australian soap. I watched it for years. I kind of drifted off of it. You know, when it used to be on BBC at like 5:30. You know, it's kind of prime time TV. I think just not enough people watching it. I mean, it was like 15-20 million, I think, when I was a kid, but obviously everyone's got more choice. I did actually think, oh, that would be really good for like Disney to pick up to kind of boost it. Well, we got a super chat here from Lady Jennifer Snow. Thank you very much for your support. Speaking of international releases on Disney Plus, a few months ago, Disney listed a ton of Asian content that will be coming. What country do you think will be next in feeding content? France or Spain? So they're spending a lot of money in France right now because they kind of have to spend I think it's like 20% of the income. So there's going to be a lot of content coming from there. Spain, they're also filming a lot more content there. I think we're going to see stuff coming from all over the place because they're going to have to hit those European quotas. They're going to have to hit. Luckily, I think a lot of the British stuff doesn't come in. So they're definitely going to be getting a lot more content coming in for sure. And yeah, I think Asian content, obviously, I think because like the South Korean content is just doing so well right now that they're very much looking towards that. But like Spanish shows and stuff, I think we're just going to see much more of this content feeding in. But a lot of it as well seems to be they need to film it. I don't think they started filming till much later. But yeah, so I definitely think I think the UK might be the one to watch. I think we got a lot of stuff happening over here. But again, thank you very much for your support and for being a member. Noel says, I cannot wait for Armor Wars, Ironheart, National Treasure, Echo, and Ahsoka. Yeah, all looks great shows. Steve says, did you see the Halo trailer? No, I've not seen it yet. I'm playing Halo Infinite at the minute, so I'll jump back into that a bit. Gary says North Korea doesn't have Disney Plus. Yeah, no, I can't see them launching there for a while. Joshua said, I think adding musical side of things might not happen as they will likely think it will eat into the profits. That is an issue. That is definitely an issue. I would agree with that maybe like in the first few years. Like I wouldn't necessarily want to put like Frozen on right now, but something like The Lion King, and also just seeing it in person. I don't know if you've ever seen. I've been lucky enough to see The Lion King in person a couple of times, and you know when you got when they come down and they're singing in person, it's just so different than it is on the screen. So there is that other issue. Gary said I had to watch the Anita director's cut through another source as it looks promising. But yeah, because I think that one launched in Hong Kong. I don't know if it's out there yet, but I know this is the thing. I wish they would do international releases because they make it difficult for people. The Jimmy Neutron guy says, can you please release the Wiggles movie on Disney Plus? Remember, I'm not Disney, so if you do want a request, you need to go through them. Go on into your little request option within Disney Plus, and you can do it. But unfortunately, there is nothing. As much as I'd like to put the Wiggles movie on there, I can't actually do that. Okay, let's jump here into the banners. See what else we've got here. So again, this was Mohammed. According to the rumor from Helman, he's found more live event codes in the system and thinks it could be something for this. Could we see an announcement about ESPN in the coming weeks? The fact that the US has been getting these ESPN documentaries and this live code stuff, it might be a little bit further off than we maybe think. This stuff with the testing of the code, this could be months or a year away. We don't necessarily think it could just be in a week. It could be a little bit longer. So here we go. So Noah says Goosebumps is coming to Disney Plus. Yes, that was announced. That was coming up over the weekend. Tracy asks, where do you get your cool t-shirts? Thank you for answering my questions. That's what I'm here for. This is what this whole show is about. It's about answering your questions. So generally I get most of my like logo t-shirts. I mean, this one I think was my wife got it from Asda or something. But generally I just get them from Amazon. They just they seem to have a load of the Disney Plus shows. So I tend to be getting them there. So I literally did buy like 10 t-shirts the other day. I found a load on there of all the Marvel shows, and just like I think I'm good probably for the Marvel shows for the next like 2 years. There's a lot coming in, and as Joshua said, the UK's been getting lots of we've been getting a lot. We're getting stuff weekly, and it looks like we've had ESPN drops in the US the last 2 weeks. Australia got tons. Matt says, do you think they're going to add parental controls in the Disney Plus? Right. So this one was one that I spotted, and I wanted to bring up this question here. So I've gone in. So this is the international version of your content rating. So here you go into your profile, and you can see what you want to set your profile to. So in the United States, it only goes up to 14. Now this was all introduced last year when Star launched, and everyone that's got Disney Plus has access to the content rating system. So even in the US, it's just that 16 and 18 aren't there. I know there's been a lot of people that maybe come on holiday. If they come to the UK or go to Australia, and they can't find this, or they've been like they're a student and they come to and they can't access it because the US accounts are blocked from having access to the 16 and 18 stuff. So that's why some people have not been able to watch it. But you do have the parental controls are already built in there. I just feel like Disney haven't really used it that much yet in the US because they just haven't needed to. Because most people either have a kids account or a 14 account. There's not really much like anyway, but it's there. They literally don't have to worry about it. Connor says, any news on NCIS coming to Disney Plus UK? It's been a while since we've heard the news. Last I heard, it's going to be early 2022. That was what they said. So hopefully it will come on soon because I know my parents are waiting for that show. Ryan says, what do you think will happen when Star turns 1? I don't know if they're going to do an. I don't know if they're going to do a celebration or an announcement or a anniversary of it, because it feels like we're kind of stepping away from Star a little bit. Things are moving on. I don't know. I would imagine I wouldn't be surprised if they go Star is expanding more and kind of expand it out a bit. Yeah, so that's definitely it. So we did that one. No, says cannot wait for Spider-Man freshman year. Yeah, so I wouldn't be at all surprised if we see a little bit. Matt says I would like to see some shows like Home Improvement. 100%. Home Improvement is one of my favorite shows. Hello to Ryan. Thank you very much for becoming a member. Thank you very much for your support. Yeah. Jimmy Wiggle Room, the release date of the Wiggles movie, I don't know, I'm afraid. I don't know when that will be coming on. Generally, like with Australia's content or anything, you don't tend to know too much more with Australia than maybe 4 to 6 weeks in advance. That's one of the issues with some of the Australian content. Gary said, is Disney going to dump the entire series of the Korean Snowdrop to release? Right, so in the UK and in the US, we're getting the entire season, all 16 episodes. In Canada, they were doing that, and then they sent out another press release saying that they're going to be releasing it separately or sort of weekly. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Canada. But I know with the UK, and they're dropping the whole lot at once. Joshua said Star in the UK launched on the 21st of February. So if they are going to do something, they are leaving it. But yeah, it's getting to that bit late. It is getting. I just don't think they're going to celebrate it because I think they're getting ready to move on to the next stage of Star. So that's my one thing on that one. Leading on from there, because Matt says, do you think they'll add an ABC hub in Disney Plus in the US? And when do you think the Connors? I think the Connors are a little bit difficult. They might be able to do it in the US, but I think that one's actually made by, I think it's Sony or someone, so they might not have the distribution rights to it. Whether or not they add an ABC is a bit tricky because they can't use it as a brand like in Australia, so it might be a bit tricky, but they're going to need to add a lot more ABC content to do that. That's definitely going to be the big key thing. Q Big Rose says, since Disney Plus added Grownish, which is rated 14 plus, I would not be surprised if Family comes as well. So at the minute, the Grownish stuff might not necessarily come because Disney have told me that it's not, even though it was announced on their YouTube channel. So you wouldn't. I think Family Guy might be pushing it. I feel like Disney are just testing the waters a little bit at the minute. Right, so I'm going to do a couple more questions before we then jump into the live for the rest of the show. So Connor says, with the news that the BT and Discovery are merging their UK sports channels later this year, could we see Disney taking back the ESPN content and possibly pounce on the WWE network? Definitely feel they could. I think they're already taking ESPN back because I think with the way that they're doing stuff, I think that's going to be happening. And if they pounce on the WWE network, it wouldn't surprise me. You know, the announcement of the Indonesia throws that hole open there. I hope it does. It saved me £10 a month. Dana says, do you think Disney will add Star to the Disney Plus in the US to add a whole host of content? They could. I mean, they might. This might be the way of getting around the Hulu issue. Just throw Star in and go, yeah, we're going to do it and just do it this way, and we'll worry about Hulu later. Or they're going to, I don't know. They could end up. There's so much. I think this last week or two with them announcing things like Snowdrop and Wonder Years and stuff, it's thrown all the rules for the US out the window and all the ESPN content. It's like all the rules that we had, they've gone, and now everyone's like, well, what are they doing? It's like, honestly, we'd seem to be going week to week with just things changing so much. It's great. It's a lot of it's good. Dana said, so if Star Plus and Latin America have the functionality to have it all, general entertainment, ESPN and Disney Plus, why not combine them all into one? I think that's what they're going to do. I think that's what's going to be happening. I feel like if they sort out the live sport for us here in Europe, Middle East, and Asia, and they'll do it in Latin America. I feel we're in this zone where the consolidation, there's been a lot of talk about bringing together streaming services because people are only going to subscribe to so many. And I think, they're all getting in on this one. All right. Okay. So that was all of our previously done questions, which is great. So we're going to just now be going into the live ones. All right. So Joe says, Grownish Season 4 released in the US in July, and it's now February, and Season 4 still isn't available. Right. I don't know whether or not they did that because, A, they were releasing Mixed-ish, but they dropped the whole second season, that one. The other problem with Grownish is that the second part of Season 4 is still only airing now, and I'm wondering if they held off on doing that. I think that's definitely because it's really annoying that it's not on there because I so want to watch that season. Tracy said, "Will the two spin-offs, NCIS LA and Hawaii, be shown on Disney Plus?" I don't know if they were on. Were they on Fox? Or if they weren't on Fox, on the Fox channel, they might not have access to them. Right. Let's see what we've got here. Right. Noah says we want to see Agatha House at the. I don't think we're going to see it at D23 because I don't think they'll even be filming it by then. Gary says Roseanne is on Amazon Prime in Canada. Don't know about the Connors. Steven says Universal film Boss Baby 2 and Adam Family will go to Sky. Yeah, because they're not. That would make more sense with them. So I'm just going to see if there's any missing ones here. There are more Star originals from Latin America coming to Hulu in the US. Could Star be rebranded in the future to focus only on international content? I could see that. I could see that being the brand of what you use for everything that's like doesn't come under it. So that's definitely a way of doing it. I'm just seeing if we've got any other questions from earlier on. Ricardo said there's an outlet saying that in North Korea, Disney Plus is struggling to retain subscribers. How is it possible if they have? Okay, so that's South Korea because North Korea doesn't have it. It might be that there's just not enough content to keep South Korean people entertained. Because if they're logging in and they're only finding lots of US content, it might not be what they're looking for. This is why the local content is so important. Just having Star included doesn't necessarily mean. It's like, I look at it the other way. If it was the other way around and a South Korean streaming service launched here in the UK or in the US, how many people would subscribe? Because they'd be like, well, I don't want to watch everything subtitled or dubbed. They want original content. So it kind of goes the other way. I do feel like this with the international launch of Disney Plus. So it wouldn't surprise me. Kayla says Disney in the US uses TV 14 as the maximum rating. Of course, once they add TVMA, that they will add content display. Yeah, I think because this was brought up with Pam and Tommy, there is actually a warning even before the TV series starts, giving you a bit of a warning. But yeah, once they put that MA stuff on there, it's gonna get a little bit interesting. Matt says, I hope they had the hub for the general. Yeah, I think there's just a general one of it. Ryan says, never knew Kingsman Goat Circle, totally forgot about it. Yeah, so that one got added here in the UK on Friday, but we're in the UK. We're actually getting the Kingsman on Wednesday, so I'm really looking forward to watching that one. Let's see what else we've got here. Gary says apparently Disney Plus Korea has a documentary on Bruce Lee. That's a good watch. Oh yeah, I know there's one on like here in the UK as well. I'm trying to think what it is. Like it was an ESPN one that they added. I'm just gonna have a look what it was. Bruce. Let's bring this one up so you can see it. Yeah, Be Water. I don't know if that's the same one or not, but that's one that we've got here, at least at the minute. Kayla said, what's interesting about the Goosebumps series is Sony is a producer, but Disney Plus is a distributor. So it won't. I think we're going to see this a lot from Sony. Sony will sell their content to anyone. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of this kind of stuff coming on. There's a lot of shows that are made, I believe The Good Doctor is also made by Sony, and I don't know if the Goldbergs are made by them as well. So they're just quite happy because they'll make the show and then they obviously sell it to Disney to kind of distribute. Joshua said, I would imagine if anything, they'll be announcing the closure and the merger of ESPN and Hotstar. If they can get this live streaming stuff sorted, this is what the thing is of closing down things for the UK and in Europe, definitely. Kaylee says the Connors and Roseannes are owned by the Casey Warner, so they will be the ones. Yeah, that's ultimately it. Joe says he can't wait for the Kingsman this Wednesday. So yeah, I didn't get to see it in the cinema. I thought I'd wait, and I'm really glad I did because for the sake of like 5-6 weeks. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing this one. There'll be that one, and like the Nightmare Alley probably next month, and West Side Story, which I'm guessing will be next month as well. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Kingsman. I really love the first two. We went to put on this afternoon, but my wife said we've seen it, so we ended up watching the Free Billboards instead. Free Billboards. No, says we want Loki and Marvel Zombies. I don't think we're going to get Loki season 2 because it's only going to start filming in the summer. So you might be lucky if we get a sizzle reel of like them sat there talking about filming it. Marvel Zombies depends how far along they are. I'm loving the idea of Marvel Zombies. Josh said, I don't suppose there's any news about Hercules, Tarzan, or like no, they've literally there's been like nothing coming out about anything like this at all. Nothing about that at all. Raging Fire launched on Disney Plus in Hong Kong. In the US, it's on hiatus. Some of this comes down to where they're like releasing it to. Steven says, although New Horizons on Hulu on the US, will it? I hope it comes to star on the same week. I really enjoyed the Orville. I think it's a great series. So I hope so. Josh also added that the NCIS New Orleans was on the other one on Fox. So that if it was on Fox, I would imagine it's much more likely to be. He also added NCIS LA is shown on Sky and Hawaii. I don't think. See that this is where it breaks down a little bit of how that works in. Ricardo said the thing about is that sports is that it's not so rentable in all countries. For that reason, Latin America does start because a lot of people watch sports. Yeah, it's. I think the trouble is they tried something in Latin America. They wanted to see if they could combine. I think there was a lot of testing going on. You know, in like Europe, we just had like Star in Disney Plus, and then in like you had India with the everything all in one, and then you had Star Plus. They had two different things, and I think they were testing out different countries, seeing how people reacted, and I think they're finding one platform seems to work better, but also as all the big streamers are all going to get in on all this, it's going to get harder and harder for smaller streamers. But yeah, I think it's going to be good. Let's see here. Last question from Noah says, I want the Shang-Chi live action and Wolverine movies. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they announced the Shang-Chi movie, the name or something. Maybe a Wolverine. Nova would be cool. I think Nova would be a good idea. Nick Can of the WWE has said that the deals with Disney will be determined on a region-by-region basis. Could see Latin America being the next. Tony, I think it's definitely a country-by-country. So Ryan says, have you booked your tickets to the D23? Yes, my tickets are booked. So I've got my tickets. I've also got my hotel booked and my flights. So I'm ready to go. I can't wait. I've been waiting to go to the D23 Expo for probably about 10 years, but it was always I couldn't do it due to work stuff. But now this year I wanted to make sure I could go. Too Big Rose said, what are your thoughts on Disney licensing content in the UK? Is Paddington? No problem with this at all. More content is great, better. Having more content made here in the UK as well is good, and just it's helping boost up that kind of content. Ricardo says, any updates about Sky Showtime, the Universal Viacom streaming thing? I don't think so. I've not been unless that comes up on the mainstream. Like I've not been hearing too much because like Sky Showtime's not here in the UK. We're not getting that one. Steven says NCIS LA is on Sky Max in May, so that'd be why we don't have it. And yeah, NCIS is on Paramount Plus in the US. Yep. So I think because Fox had the rights to it. Knox Way says hello to you. Hope you had a good time. Let's see what else we've got in here. Matt says, do you think the new Beatles on the Roof concert? I hope they do. I hope they put that concert on there because that to me was the best bit of the concert of that thing. That was such a great one. I really enjoyed that one. Gary said the Bruce Lee documentary is called Be Water. Yeah, that's the one that's on the UK. So I don't think they've added the ESPN content into the Canada yet. Have I seen Hit Monkey? Not yet. It's on my to-do list. It's been a bit hard on that. I don't know what it is. There's something about that series which is just not like. I think because it's so late now, and it dropped. I think had I got it in November, I probably would have watched it a little bit more. But yeah, I am going to watch it at some point. What if Disney renamed Hulu and Disney Plus Hotstar to Disney Plus? I definitely could see that some rebranding going on. I think Hulu would just merge in with Disney Plus in the US. The key thing with like India is like if they get rid of the Hotstar name. That's a lot. That's like a legacy title. They might do it long enough that people think of Disney Plus Hotstar, and then they can get rid of the Hotstar name. So I wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Noel says, I want Comic-Con at Marvel panel. Yeah, see, I don't know if I think they're going to hold back a lot of stuff at the San Diego Comic-Con stuff. Tracy said, any news on the Zorro series? No, they've not announced anything. I suspect we probably won't hear much now till much nearer the time, because they tend to announce they're making something, and then unless there's some casting news and stuff, generally they go quite quiet for a while. No says, bye, see you next week. Yeah, thank you very much for dropping in. Thanks very much for being a member. Stuart asked, do you think we'll get the Eyes of Tammy Faye when it was produced by Searchlight will be on Disney? Because it's only just come out in cinemas, give it 45 days, 50 days before it comes out here, I would imagine. I think that's, don't expect it too soon. Gary also said, I have a weird feeling someone bad is going to happen to The Simpsons on Disney Plus. Hong Kong Chinese subtitles have been politically charged. I see references to, I think that's going to be like localized changes, and I think ultimately Disney have to correspond with local governments, and yeah, whether or not they end up taking them off in Hong Kong, I don't know, but if they can keep editing it, from Disney's point of view, it's either have it or not have it. That's probably going to be the choice, really. They have to do it or they can't. It's very tricky, because obviously with the whole situation in Hong Kong, it is so difficult. And I was out there a couple of years ago during the protests and stuff, so I completely understand why people are so upset about it. Definitely think it's just such a messy situation. Matt says, what Hulu original do you think with the first one to add? My one I'd love them to do would be Love Victor. That would be the one I'd love them to do, because that would really push the buttons. That would really kind of ruffle it up a bit of like being something a bit more mature. And it is, I mean, it's basically, it's just it's a teenage show. But yeah, I think that would be the one. I mean, Pam and Tommy might be a little bit too much to do right now, but yeah. Steven said, need Holy Week documentary in the run up. Yeah, I think I definitely don't disagree with the idea of them putting more content on there. Religious information, all this kind of stuff. If it's there, it should be there. Knoxwave said, what was the worst Disney Plus original series you have watched? Okay, so I'm going to give you a few, because I'm not just going to give you one. I hated BR Chef. I didn't like that one at all. Shop Class generally got worse. I wasn't a big fan of Becoming, because I think the format was good and some of the episodes were good, but because so many of these celebrities, I just never clue what they were. So that was one. I'm trying to think whichever one. Yeah, I think those are the ones. BR was it the Big Fib was not great. I didn't like that one. Generally, all those ones that you kind of think those are the ones that. But I would say BR Chef was my worst one, definitely. Joe said when they were Rescue Rangers, I think they did say spring, so it might be April. Steven says, I think that Antlers is taking Antlers is taking a long time to come to Disney Plus in the UK. I don't know if they were trying something different or they had different rules in place for that one. Everyone on the chat sees Hulu sunsetting, but there's a reason why they've been playing the live TV ads. I think they're going to I think Hulu will live on as this live TV service with Disney Plus built in. I totally agree with you. Totally agree on that one. Joe says, are you going to watch Disenchanted on? I've never seen it. I've never seen that, actually. I know it's on Netflix. I've never watched that one. If Disney Plus goes TV MA, they better put Brickbury. Yeah, I think they would likely to do that. Okay, so we've got a couple more minutes left. So if you've got any last minute questions before we shut off at 1:45. Knoxwave says, are you excited about the new Uncharted film? Yes. I really enjoyed. I've played through and completed all the games, so I am familiar with Uncharted. And it's got Tom Holland in, and like Mark Wahlberg's all right as well. So for me, I don't know, will I go cinema? I don't know if I go cinema to it. I might wait for the home video release, but yeah, I don't know. Jimmy Neutron guy said, if I do my own fan film that is Disney Plus, will it? No, that's not. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. Gary says, I heard rumors about buzzing that the Obi-Wan. There's not really any truth to it. They've not announced anything officially. There's been a lot of speculation. There was tweets and stuff, and it's probably just it makes a lot of sense. It just makes a lot of sense. Let's see here. We got any other questions? I think that's nearly all of them. Stephen said, "Well, will end month be big film for April for Easter month?" I mean, I would imagine that it would make sense to drop something big around Easter weekend in the same way, like for Christmas and stuff. So I would imagine, but I don't know if they generally don't obviously go in with the whole. It would be just dropping a big movie. I don't necessarily think that's right. So Gary said, yeah, May the 4th. May the 4th is obviously the big reason why a lot of people are like picking up on Obi-Wan. Two Big Rose says, I wonder why the Hulu Live TV existed in the first place when people subscribe more. We're going to think that the live TV thing, there's a lot of people that are using it, and so therefore there is still and they're paying like $60-$70 a month for it. The live TV system doesn't run here in the UK. We don't have this whole situation. So it's not really. It's like for over here, you'd be like, it doesn't really. I think like Now TV might have like live streaming of its channels. BBC will, but they're all separate apps. We don't have that one system. But if it's still making money, people will do it. Matt says, what is your most anticipated Disney Plus original movie of the year? Prey. It's not maybe a Disney Plus original. It's the Predator movie that's going to be coming out. That's one I'm looking for. As far as a Disney Plus original, I think Disenchanted. I think that might be the one. Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. Now, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers is one of my favorite cartoons, so I'm going to be interested to see how the movie works. But yeah, so those are the two that are coming in. Knoxways, have you seen the Percy Jackson films? No. And I've decided that I'm not going to watch any of them. I want to go into the new Disney Plus series totally blind. I don't want to compare it. I don't want to have to look at it. So I'm going in completely blind. Two Big Roses, how become Disney Plus Canada does not have any NC-17 content equivalent to 18 plus? Are you sure? Because you've had a lot of stuff recently from FX. You had, what was it? Premise? What's the Premise? I just want to see what that one is. So Premise was a 16. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think what else you've had. You had Pose. So Pose is 16. Yeah. I'm trying to think what else have you had recently? You've had quite a lot of the FX shows, but there's not a lot of them. There's definitely not a lot of them. Bubba Trolling says Hotstar on Hulu is a great idea. I think it was a good idea for them to close down Hotstar and move it over. The Night of the Museum is 2023. I don't think they've said anything yet exactly for that one. Two Big Row. It's for folks like me who left direct television satellite and need something to watch live sports and local news. See, I think because here in the UK you can have like satellite or aerial, and you can get access to live television still through that one. So definitely see like that is a bit of a difference with the US. Two Big Red said he's an anti-cable and anti-cinema, and only what I think there's definitely a thing with. I don't necessarily think being anti-cinema. I'm definitely not anti-cinema. I like going cinema. I think the anti-cable. I get that. I get why people don't want cable television. Dana says we do see Disney Plus becoming. If they can sort out this live sports, I could see one app. That's the key difference. If they get that live sports aspect, they can make it worldwide. Gary does say that we do have mature. Yeah, I'm just trying to think in terms of like NC-17 rated. It depends on how they work there in Canada. But they've been adding a lot of FX content, which is much more adult, right? Content. The Johnny Neutral guys, please, can someone please release the original theatrical release of version of Toy Story 2 and Monsters Inc.? Yeah, it's down to Disney if they do that or not. That's going to be the issues with this one. And right, I think Dana. Yeah, so Dana said, "Do you see? Yeah, I definitely see Disney Plus becoming one app." Right on that one, that one there as two big grosses. The Toy Story 2 version is too controversial for today. Yeah, there's a scene in the clips at the end with Stinky Pete that they're just not going to put on there now. Matt says, do you think we'll see parental controls added to Disney Plus? Yeah, see, Matt, I will bring this one up for you just because I did preempt this one beforehand. You see here, these are the parental controls for Disney Plus. Now, obviously, you can see here, I have the 16 and 18 ones. If you go into your settings in the US, you will find the exact same settings set up. You just don't have 16 and 18. Now, whether or not they enable the 16 content because of Snowdrop, I don't know. They might do that. But the parental controls are already there. They literally just have to flip it. Turn on 14 and 16 and 18. So they upgraded it last year. So when Star launched, the US got all the same content as well. So it is already there. So NC-17 is more of an American thing. We don't have this rating in Canada. So what rating do you have in Canada? Canada TV ratings. I'm interested now. TV ratings system. So I'm just going to see because I don't know how that one works. So you have outside of Quebec, you have an 18A, and you have a 14A, and a restricted for R. Yeah, so like essentially, yeah. See, I don't think they're going to put any A onto Disney Plus. R might be like Pam and Tommy. No, because on Canada, they've been putting TVMA on the Pam and Tommy adverts on the Canada's social media, so they're doing something like that one. Knoxwave said, where are you hoping Turning Red will release in theaters and at Disney Plus at no extra cost at the same? To me, it's either kind of one or the other. I'm not against them doing small theatrical releases and then it comes on the Disney Plus quicker for the big releases because I think that will give us better content. I do worry that if everything goes to Disney Plus, the quality might dip because they don't see that financial investment. Joe says, when do you think Titanic will come to Disney? It left. I don't know why that one's not on there yet. Don't know why. Hope it's on there too because I really like it. But I only tend to watch the last hour. I always skip forward at the whole kind of love story thing. I'm not interested. I want to wait until I actually hit the Titanic. That's when the story starts. Right. On that note, guys, thank you very much to everyone in the live chat. Lots of questions today. Love to hear all of your questions. That's always great. Always nice to see them. Again, thank you very much for all of your support. Thank you for everything that you guys do on the live chat, and especially to everyone just joining in live. Thank you very much. And on that note, guys, thank you very much. See you guys soon. Laters.